So Palantir stock had quite a nice run in the last 2 weeks. We saw the stock break resistance of $27.50 and climb close to $30 last week. But then Evergrande, quad witching, and possible taper news made it come back down to $26 mark. And it looks like the only thing trending right now is Lucid stock. Well, that's a topic for a different video. So let's not make this video where the price is going to 5x or 10x. Instead, let's talk about how everyone not holding Palantir will be sorry in just a few years. Let's talk about innovation, let's talk about growth, and let's talk about what's the best way to invest in this company. My opinion only, entertainment purposes only. So let's start with innovation. Now, if you are an investor or an enthusiast about this company, then you know the innovation is in their DNA. I mean, which company calls their software as an operating system, and that too for tomorrow's? So I had an opportunity to experience Foundry at a client location last week, and that was the purpose of making this video. With the latest supply chain issues, which is hitting every sector, Palantir has become one of the most critical pieces of the puzzle. Trust me. I was not allowed to use the system as I did not have required access, but I looked at what the system can do in real time. And all I have to say is that this is going to be massive and people have no idea how they are really connecting the dots. It's almost scary. To a point where I really hope they launch an operating system for consumers like you and me so we can surf, check email, and watch YouTube, all that a lot more intelligently. Let me share a few groundbreaking things Palantir has released, and then we'll follow up with how the company will grow and then how I'm investing. So let me share my screen and let's start by looking at what, where, and how Palantir offer its product and services. Now, a quick screenshot right here that I took from their website shows their current offering, and it ranges all the way from AI to auto racing to retail and all the way to supply chain. So if you can see, artificial intelligence and machine learning, number one, and this is really big deal for Palantir. Anti-money laundering, number two, which kind of links to number one. That's why they put it over here, artificial intelligence and money laundering, because after that comes all these sectors. The last sector that they introduced, which is supply chain, is going to be one of the biggest sectors that Palantir will be used for. Now, I'm going to show you a statement from their 2020 S1. This is almost a year old, and I'm sure they have doubled their customers and their reach. This is what they have to say. So they're saying that our platform are used or were used by 125 customers, okay? Were used by 125 customers. Our software is used by customers across 36 industries and more than 150 countries. This is massive scale, again, a year old. Along with that, we estimate our total addressable market to be approximately 119 billion across the commercial and government sector. Now, this was last year when the world has not seen the supply chain issues and the backlash of China. The experience I shared in the beginning was with the industry I never thought would use Palantir. Their use cases are growing and their demand is increasing. This is a very bullish sign for a software company because they really don't have to wait for chips to complete their deliveries. So now let's move on to growth and let's talk about their latest partnership with Vijo right here. Now, to be honest, I was really surprised to see this news and this article now. Everyone was talking about this news. I had covered this partnership in detail in a video I did back in July, and what you see here is a screenshot from that presentation. I'm going to link the video towards the end of this video. Make sure you do check it out and start watching it from 1 minute and 20-second mark to get all the details on Vijo. But the reason why I'm bringing it here is because that's another example of how they're expanding the reach in the most revolutionary sector and one of the most exciting evolution we are going to see in our lifetimes, which is EVs or electric vehicles. Now let's talk about stock growth for us investors. So Palantir, like Tesla, like Amazon, like Google, or maybe like AMC, no, I'm just kidding for the last one, have to prove a lot to the investors and especially Wall Street, because Wall Street is not sold if they can deliver year over year staggering growth number as they promised. Here are some facts on how Palantir is slowly becoming popular among institutional investors right here. And I'm going to show you in a very clean dashboard that is going to give you an overall sentiment of the institutional investors towards Palantir. So on this chart that you see over here, this is the graph that basically shows institutional shares, long positions only. As you can see, the institutional investors' holdings were rising, and then all of a sudden after Q1 we had that big sell-off and everything got sold out. But look at this now. A lot more institutions are holding Palantir now. Along with that, number of holders have been going up constantly since last year when they IPO'd. These two are bullish signs. Along with that, you can see here open versus close position, holders opened on top. So as you can see, there are more open position, which is right here. I'm going to mark it up here. Right here is actually, no, this is not good. Right here, this is open position, and as you can see over here, this is close position. So if you compare between the two, there are a lot more open position as compared to close position, which is a really bullish sign. Number two, increase versus decrease position. So these are the people, those who basically have the holdings or still hold Palantir as the institution, but they have increased their holding versus they have decreased. As you can see, every quarter there are more people holding versus more people selling. So the numbers are going up staggering on this category as well. There are less people selling or getting out of the position as compared to the people, those who are holding. This over here is put versus call, that is puts on top. So on top are the puts and at the bottom are the calls. Now, the chart doesn't tell us if it was put sold or put bought or call sold or call bought. So really can't gauge the bullishness or the bullish sentiment over here, because this could be put that they bought or put that they sold, which is, in my opinion, sometimes is bullish, because I do it all the time where I sell cash covered puts because I want to make consistent money from the stock. Okay, now just to sum it all up, these are their numbers. So institutional investors about 636.56 million. I know it's not very clear, but this is the number over here. And as you can see, that Palantir is now being held in almost about 79 ETFs. 79 different ETFs right here hold Palantir in their funds, which is damn exciting and damn bullish. So now let's talk about the chart or the stock for a second. And I'm not going to go too much in detail. I'm just going to show you quickly what I saw on the chart and how I'm playing it. So when the stock broke the resistance right here, the 2750 mark right here, I knew that the stock is going to go up from here. This was a hard resistance. It has touched many times in the past and have come down. After that, the stock almost saw close to $30 or 29 some change. Then the Evergrande news hit, then the Fed started to talk about tapering, and then at the same time the quad witching, and we saw a huge volume that day that traded hands. After that, we know what happened on Monday, we know what happened on Tuesday. Monday, the stock market was down and it came all the way down. Tuesday was a little bit better. But this is what I did. So when the stock was really high, what I did was I have about 3,000 Palantir shares. That week, last week, I was holding 2750 Palantir calls, which I covered calls for about 30 calls right here. And I was scared that I'm going to end up losing the share. So what I did was I sold those calls, or sorry, I rolled those calls over to October 21st, which is going to be October 15th. I think that's what's falling, for $28, just 50 cents more. So I can get more premium for, again, 30 calls or for on my 3,000 share, and I got about $2.09 or about $6,000. Right now, right after the Monday sell-off, I'm gaining about 61% on that position. So I'm going to continue to open this position because I know that this is just a recession the market is taking. From what I'm hearing, from what I'm reading, we can see some more blood, some more red in the market, and that will be the time for me to get out of these $28 calls to make most over here. So I'm in no mood to, of course, lose my Palantir share, but I continue to find ways to make money from my current holding. Again, this is the money that's on the table. I'm not going to leave it. That is why I always sell these covered calls on my stock. And if I see, okay, you know what, the stock is moving too high, they're going to take away from me, I usually roll the calls or I buy them back. It's okay if I have to pay or if I have a loss that week, because I have made consistent money for a number of months now on my Palantir holdings. So regardless, there is no doubt in my mind that we are going to see a different level of compute power from this company. And doesn't matter if it's Tesla, Lucid, NIO, or Ford, connected data is something all companies want. Machine learning and AI is something all companies want. Palantir is one of those companies who can effortlessly combine data sets from different industries to make sense of it all. Comment below to tell me how you are playing Palantir and what kind of position you have opened, and especially if you have first-hand experience using Palantir, I would love to talk to you and know more about it. So I'm going to link my Palantir and Vijo video that I did in July right here. Do check it out and start from 1 minute and 20-second mark, because that is where I go in detail about Vijo. If you got any value out of this video, then hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so I can have more opportunity to talk with all of you in the comments. As always, thank you for joining me. Love you all. Until next time, you all have a sparkling day.